On the second and last day of special votes, the ability for municipalities in the Northern Cape to provide services as per promises during electioneering is under the spotlight. Some residents hope their cross will bring about change in their current living conditions. Our reporter Neria Hlakotsa is at the IEC Centre in Kimberley with political analyst Andre Duvinage. Neria, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Just give us a brief overview of how the situation is there at the voting station.
Good morning to you. Of course, we are at the IEC Centre. This is where everything will be happening as numbers come in during this voting season for the local government elections. Of course, when we speak to people, one thing they want is change in their municipalities. We know that this weekend alone for the special votes, we have at least 93,000 people who have registered for special votes. And when we visit the various voting stations, we can see that people have hope. But one question, of course, Simpiwe, remains whether people will actually get the change that they are hoping for. You must remember that in the Northern Cape, we have at least 26 municipalities. But also when you check the Auditor General report for 2019-2020, it shows that these municipalities have irregular expenditure. When we look at their irregular expenditure, it's at least 810 million rand, and they're owing water boards and Eskom at least $1 billion. So right now I'm going to bring in our political analyst, Professor Andre Duvinage, just to speak to us in terms of the feasibility. Prof, thank you so much for joining us. It's election time. We saw political parties as part of their electioneering promising a good life. But with the Auditor General's report, can we actually provide better services for the people of the Northern Cape?
Good morning, Neria. Yes, I think you alluded to the challenges that Northern Cape is facing, and you refer to the 810 million irregular spending and what they owe to the water board and electricity of about $1 billion. Now, clearly, these are major challenges, and we know that service delivery, generally speaking, is going down, as is the case in South Africa at large. Now, if you compare the current situation in the Northern Cape to, for example, what is currently going on in Northwest, where we have about all municipalities under Article 139 suspension and intervention, and you look at even a province under administration, the scenario here in Northwest, in Northern Cape, is better than the one in the Northern Cape. And my honest opinion is that, yes, we are facing major challenges here in the Northern Cape. But again, we can, I think in a way, it will be easier to bring a better life to people. And that is why it is so important for the people to go voting. My take on the election at the moment is that the biggest single change factor is going to be voter turnout. And where people are dissatisfied with service delivery, and I believe you will pick it up in many communities throughout the 26 municipalities, the solution and the option will be to go vote. Let the people talk. Let the people give the direction. Because in a democracy, you have the opportunity to elect your own elite. And if you are dissatisfied with the current elite, replace them with better people, with a better elite.
I mean, Prof, just speaking also on that, we are seeing now that there's a formation of service delivery forums across the province. We're seeing more independent candidates that are now contesting these elections. I mean, just in the Northern Cape alone, when we look at 2016 to where we are now, 2016 we had 42 independent candidates, and as I'm speaking to you now, we are at 72 independent candidates. What does that mean? Are people really desperate to see the change? Why are we seeing an increase in service delivery forums and even independent candidates?
Neria, yeah, the tendency in the Northern Cape is quite similar to the national tendency, where the total is about a double from what it was in 2016. You ask the question why this is happening. People are dissatisfied not only with political parties, but with the system as system. They believe that they need to change more than what the parties are able or willing to change. And this is, as I mentioned, a national tendency. What is, however, very interesting is that the conflict within the structures of the ANC give rise to more independent candidates, where from within the ANC there are opposition against even another ANC candidate, reflecting the levels of conflict within the organization. But then we have seen independent candidates coming up, and then we have seen independent groupings, like, for example, your taxpayers associations, your community groups, and so on. And I believe if there was an election where the independent candidates and the more independent groupings, if you talk to the proportional side of the electoral system, can make a difference, this is probably their best opportunity. And only the fact that we have the figures you refer to is indicative of a process that is going on. And it's, to me, an indication that the ANC may find more resistance than was the case at least in 2016.
Thank you so much. That was Professor Duvenage just giving us an overview as a political analyst in terms of what can we expect and what are the numbers telling us here in the Northern Cape. Of course, we do know that at least 600 or just more than 600 voting stations are open for this weekend and for these special votes. We will, of course, be checking out how things are going in all the voting stations across the province.
All right, Neria, lovely chatting to you.